Hello everyone, this is Firestar Roleplaying coming at you with another video to help you stoke your flames of imagination and creation within the Ring of Fire. Now, this is the second episode in the starter series. I'm putting on hold some of the species because I've had some people request me to do mechanics, and it should be pretty fast and easy, so I'm going to knock these into two videos. This one's going to be about how to play, the next one's going to be about how to make a character sheet. So, to start off with, we're going over to Roll20 here. Roll20 is a very great free service that you can use to play basically any tabletop you can imagine. It has online dice rollers. You can put up your pictures. You can put up anything you want. Basically, it's completely free. I'm going to have Roll20 here to show you guys how to roll dice with Ring of Fire. So, Ring of Fire uses a 2d8 system. Bam, we roll 2d8, we got 7. That's our total. You see, if we have a 7, that means that we compare that to the difficulty number given to us by the FT to determine whether or not we succeed or fail. Now, what do you add to this roll? Well, you add your skills. For example, if you had an acrobatics roll and you were trying to make an acrobatics balance check, what do? You look at your acrobatics skills rank, which instead of 0 goes from 0 to 5. And every status afterwards, you level it up. You can level it up. You raise the cap by 1 every status afterwards. Status goes 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, then finally 1. Then 1.1, 1.2, so on and so forth, all the way up to status 10. Each time you reach a whole status number, you can increase the skill cap. I won't be going super into detail on how leveling up works because we're mostly talking about the dice system, but that gives you a very basic idea of how that works. So, let's say we had 5 acrobatics. Okay, acrobatics is also based on your dexterity. So let's say we had 10 dexterity, which gave us a modifier of 2. So for every point above 8, you have a +1 to your roll in a thing. So in this situation, 2 points above 8 equals 10, which means you have +2. So we have +7 to our acrobatics roll now. Now, if you have a forte, the forte will give you a bonus as well. If you have a forte of 1 to 4, if you have a skill 1 to 4, it gives you +1, 5 to 9 gives you +2, 10 to 14 gives you +3, and 15 gives you +4. The fortes can be in the subcategories of skills. They basically cover everything you could ever want them to cover. In our case, we're going to say an acrobatics balance check. So you would roll your acrobatics balance forte. Let's say we had a forte. We have 5 acrobatics. Our forte is +2 because it's between 5 and 9. And then that's a +7. And then we have a +9 total because we add our 2 dexterity onto that. So we roll our 2d8 +9. And as you see, we came up with a 16. If you get a 16 like this, you would tell your FT, or most likely you'd roll it in front of them. That is how I do it, how I advise you do it. It not only eliminates any chance for cheating, but it also makes it so it's more fun because the whole table gets to see where you, like what you roll, and they get to have the excitement of that. So you tell the FT. They would tell you, yes, you beat it, no, you didn't beat it. And in this case, let's just assume our roll, our DC was a 10. So we beat it. But we beat it by more than necessary. And that's where boost comes in. Now, skills by default boost on 5s. Most things will probably end up boosting on a 5. A boost is when you beat a target number by that much. So in our case, we have 16, so we beat it by 5 or more. And if you boost, you get an extra success, basically. It goes beyond whatever the normal success would be. So example, if maybe we were trying to cross a tightrope and we were balancing across it, and this roll was going to make it so that we get across it safely. But since we boosted, maybe we make it across quickly, and whoever is following behind us gets left in the dirt. Maybe you're in a chase or something like that, and you need to go across the ledge really fast, or jump a roof or something like that. Maybe you leave them behind, or maybe you're crafting a sword, so that the boost means that the sword is of higher quality than it might have otherwise been. In combat, boosts give you extra damage. All weapons have their own particular boost. They range greatly. They can go all the way up to 7. I think they can get maybe as low as 4 in most cases, unless it's a special case. Then the boost would make it so you do extra damage. And if you get 3 or more boost, you start damaging their armor. 1 point for every boost starting at 3, you damage 1 point off your enemy's armor. So boost give you that ability to do something more. And it's like if you got a 19 on D&D or something like that, you're like, man, that's not a nat 20. But now it doesn't matter because you can get those nice boosts. And that gives you something even if you just beat the crap out of someone. They roll a nat 2, you roll a nat 10. You know, for example, but this actually gives you something for doing that. So let's just roll a couple more times. See, we got an 8 there. So this is going to be our next example. 8s explode. Now, what do I mean by that? It means if we go bam, we got a 4. So now our total would be 24. 1s suppress 8s as well. They suppress explosions. If you roll double 1s, it's a fumble, like a critical failure. If you roll double 8s, then you knock your opponent prone and they have to spend action to get back up. So that adds something cool because the 8s will boost ad infinitum until you stop rolling 8s. The highest roll I've ever seen has been somewhere in the high 70s, I want to say, maybe low 80s. But you could roll quite a lot. Like I've seen like 5 or 7, even 8s all just they keep going sometimes, and that can the look on the players' faces when they explode, and it keeps going, and just the sound in their voice, as it gets good like that, and they know what's good, and these 8s exploding is what's good, you understand. And as we get further and further into the game, these 8s exploding like this can help make up the difference. A lower level character could boost for days on a high level character and maybe actually do something to them, and it helps with the gap because there's not encounter charts or anything like that. There's essentially no tables at all unless you count the weapons tables and like the tables for the divinities in this game. So it's very narrative, very fast, very fluid, and combat will go by quickly. Speaking of going by quickly, you go into the quick. In combat, once you reach a certain level of health, which is 7, which is, you know, a normal, everyday human, if you didn't put any points into conditioning or vig or anything like that, you would have 8 health. So if you get put into 7 health, you start getting negatives, and it will continuously drop until you reach 0 health. You die when you reach your vigor score in negatives +1. So if you have 8 vigor and you get to -9 vigor, you're dead. The quick is really cool because you get to describe what happens to you, describe what happens to your character. You get to tell them, like, maybe you broke your arm, maybe you lost an eye or something like that, and then you start getting negatives for being at low health, but your opponents also suffer from the effects of the quick. So there's no running around at 1 HP and just fighting as if nothing had ever happened. You have like 250 HP and then you're at 1 HP and it's like, oh, whatever, I'm just as good as I started. Adds a lot more of a gritty, realistic feel to the game, which is pretty interesting, and I think it adds a lot to the role-playing element of things. Now, I could sit here and go on for days about all the specific intricacies, but this has taught you how to roll the dice, what rolls look like, a little tiny taste of combat, and if there's anything else you want to know specifically that you would maybe want me to make a whole video on, like there's advantages and imperfections, there's spell casting, there's all this stuff. I feel some of it's a little bit more intuitive than others, like advantages and imperfections is pretty simple. If you read the core book, it's pretty easy to pick up on for the most part, but there might be some stuff in there that trips people up, especially with specific cases. So if you have any questions like that, please let me know in the comments below. And next time, we're going to be showing you how to make your catalyst within the Ring of Fire. But until then, this has been Firestar Roleplaying signing off. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye, God bless, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.